If you spend a lot of time on Discord, but you're feeling some discord about the quality of your audio and your video, I wanna walk you through all of the settings you need to look and sound your best. I'm gonna split this into two parts. So the first part is I'm just gonna walk you through and tell you what to click. And it's gonna be super simple and basic. So if you just want the settings, just go through, do that. After that, I'm gonna go through and then explain the why behind all that stuff. So if you just want the settings, the first part of this video is for you. If you wanna know why you're using those settings, then the second part is also for you. And I hope that both parts are for everybody. Jumping right into it. Here are my voice and video options in Discord settings. We're gonna start with audio and then we're gonna move to video. When it comes to audio, I'm making recommendations based on 3 different types of setups. The first setup would be the worst. You're just using the built-in microphone, you have nothing else. If it's your phone, it's your phone. If it's your built-in computer, if you're using a laptop connected to an external display and your laptop's way in the corner away from you, the microphone's way over there, basically zero attention paid to equipment. That's the first type of setup. The second setup would be that you are using an external microphone, but either the microphone itself just isn't that great or you're not able to position it in a way that it can sound its best. I've known a lot of people who have great microphones, but for one reason or another, just kind of based on their physical setup, their physical space, it can't be positioned close to them to sound its best. And then the third setup would be the best scenario, which is you have a microphone, it's decent, and it's close to you and it sounds good. So that could be, an external USB microphone, or maybe you have a full-on Rodecaster external mixer with a nice microphone running into it, and you have like really high quality audio setup. Different settings for different setups. So let's get set up to talk about settings. First things first, you got your input and your output device. The number one mistake that people make in Discord is they forget to actually select their microphone. So they connect a mixer or a mic or whatever, and it's an awesome quality thing, but they don't select it in Discord and they're just using the built-in microphone. So make sure that you actually are selecting the source that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use my Rodecaster Duo. Same thing for output device. That's just where you want to listen to your audio. That's going to depend on your setup. If you want your built-in speakers, headphones, whatever. In general, it is a good idea to use headphones or in-ear monitors, so that way you don't have interference. You don't have the microphone picking up its own sound on the speaker, and then you have feedback or echo and all that kind of stuff. If you do need to use an external speaker, keep the volume as low as possible so that way you avoid those feedback loops. In general, I just go with the default input and output settings. Input at 100. If you're using a very sensitive microphone that does not have the ability to adjust itself, then you can adjust your input volume. But in general, keep that at 100 and adjust your mic level on the mic itself. Or you might need to go into your computer's system sound settings. This is Mac OS, but it'd be the same thing on Windows. And then select your input option and then choose the level of it here. The Rodecaster won't let me choose the level because it handles it. But other microphones will let me actually choose the input volume. And you want that to be kind of peaking right around 75%. So if you are using an external microphone, make those settings in your computer's sound settings. And then when you go back to Discord, you can just keep your input volume at 100% because that's being handled by your computer. And then maybe also on your microphone or your mixer if they have their own volume and gain adjustments. Testing your microphone, always a good idea before you do anything in Discord. Even if something hasn't changed from the day before, last time you used it, just double check to be sure. So if you click Let's Check, then you will see your audio and it will also play it back for you so you can hear how it sounds. Your input mode, voice activity or push to talk. Voice activity means it will be active. Discord will unmute you when it hears stuff happening on your end. And push to talk means you have to unmute yourself. In general, if you're in poor recording conditions, do push to talk. So that way you are in charge of when you want to be able to talk or not. And you can also key bind a key right there. So you can make it your space bar, a specific key, whatever, a mouse click, a mouse button, and then you can push to talk that way. So depends on your environment. If you're in a nice controlled environment, then use voice activity because then it's just gonna mean you don't have to worry about anything. If you're in a less than ideal environment, then push to talk is a good idea. Or if you're just worried about it picking up things like sneezing or chewing or whatever, and you don't want Discord to suddenly play your audio when you just cough or sneeze or eat a snack, then push to talk is the way to go. Input sensitivity is a good thing to leave checked because Discord is then going to sort of try to figure out what is your voice and is not your voice. So leave that checked. And then voice processing. This is where people make all kinds of mistakes all the time. By default, a lot of times you will have echo cancellation turned on and you will have crisp turned on. So if you're using that worst microphone setup, what you want to do is turn on echo cancellation, turn on crisp, and automatic gain control. That's going to help your audio sound its absolute best. If you're using a microphone that just doesn't sound its best or isn't positioned well, then you might want echo cancellation, and you can probably get by with just standard noise suppression. And if you're using a really good setup, you have a microphone that sounds good, it's positioned well, or you're using an external mixer, turn off echo cancellation and then do noise suppression to none. And I would also probably turn off automatic gain control. And the advanced features have less to do with your audio quality and more to do with your audio experience. It's a good idea to leave the first one on, so Discord will let you know when it's actually not detecting audio from your mic. Switching a voice channel is good because if you're in a voice channel and you switch to another one, Discord will tell you you're switching one so you don't accidentally barge in a voice channel accidentally. And then enabling quality of service or high packet priority, I would just experiment with that. Turn that on, see if you get better results, turn that off, see if it makes a difference. It kind of depends on your network and your router. And then for video, pretty simple. If you're using video on Discord, always test your video here. Right now, it's going to just turn on my computer's, my MacBook Pro's built-in camera right there. I definitely want to always preview video. So if you're using video, you always want to see what you look like before you jump into Discord. And this is where you can also choose your camera. Same thing as with a microphone. Sometimes people will have a webcam or have something really nice that they have attached to their computer, and then they forget to select it and they just end up using the built-in camera, or they don't realize the built-in camera's on and they're looking at their other camera, not realizing that it's not actually what other people are seeing. So in this case, I could use my MacBook's camera, or I could just go to my OBSBot webcam here, which I have connected to my computer, and this one's kind of fun because it will move around and track me and do all kinds of fun stuff like that. I could also then take things a little bit further, and if I wanted to use something like OBS or Ecamm Live's virtual camera, that's where I can really add in effects. So whatever camera you have connected here, this is where you can select it, and then you can do different backgrounds if you want. If you just want to blur out your background, I could do that here, and it's going to give me that, you know, I don't know, I'm embarrassed of my background look. You can create custom backgrounds if you have Nitro, and of course you have, you know, some basic ones like this. That's all pretty standard. I usually don't mess with that. I kind of just use the natural background. But I don't have any ability in here to adjust colors or picture quality or anything. So that's where if you want to use something like OBS or Ecamm Live, you can run your camera into those applications and then adjust your image quality there and then select those as a source, like right here, OBS virtual camera, Ecamm Live virtual camera. And then I will have all of those adjustments right here in Discord. Hiding your stream preview just means that if you are streaming to Discord, whether or not people will be able to see your stream before they jump in and start watching it. So that's kind of up to you. I like leaving that off because people will know what is being streamed without having to jump in. To me, that makes more sense, but depending on what you're streaming, how secretive you want to be or not, that's up to you. If you're streaming with a lot of other people and voices, leaving stream attenuation on and attenuation strength kind of at these default settings is pretty good. And then use your operating system menus to select a screen capture source. Good idea too, because whether you're using Windows or Mac, that will just kind of give you the best screen recording options. These advanced options, I usually just leave checked. If you have a relatively new-ish computer, you should be able to leave those checked just fine and things will look great. And then soundboard and debugging. Soundboard is just totally separate. We're not going to talk about that today because that's if you want to build your own Discord soundboard. That's a separate thing. And then debugging, this is sort of interesting. Diagnostic audio recording, you can turn that on if you want, and that's just going to record the last 5 minutes of your audio. So that means if you're talking to people or you're doing a stream and say people keep saying that like your mic is too loud or your audio's cutting in and out, but you're not hearing it or you can't fix it, when you're done, you'll be able to go back and listen to the last few minutes, hear what they heard, and then try to figure out what went wrong. So that's the quick run through of all those different settings. Now let's talk about the why behind some of those. If we go back to audio, the big place where the why comes into play is in voice processing. Krisp is really cool. It's a third-party application that Discord has implemented or included that basically helps process your audio and make it sound good without you having to do anything. And the reason that this is cool and the reason that it's included is because Discord is working on the assumption that a lot of people have paid zero attention to their audio quality. They aren't microphone nerds, they aren't audio nerds, they're just people who just want to talk and share and stream and stuff. And so by default, they have echo cancellation and Krisp turned on. What that's going to do, echo cancellation means that if you are playing audio through speakers really loudly, it's going to try not to pick that up on the microphone. And then Krisp is going to try to process the audio and make it sound as crisp as possible, even if you are just using a built-in microphone or, you know, something way on the other side of the room and it does not sound great. This can do some pretty impressive boosts to quality, but it's also not a miracle. Like people aren't going to think, oh my gosh, you're using like a Rodecaster and a broadcast mic right in front of your mouth. It's still going to sound a little bit funky, but it's going to help you sound better and sound a little more clear. The reason you don't want to use that all the time though is because it really processes and over processes your audio, and sometimes it can sound really garbly. So if you're using a decent microphone and you have crisp and echo cancellation turned on, you can then find that like those noise gates and those filters are too aggressive, and it kind of gives you this like distorted, underwater, garbly sound. And then you might be frustrated because you have this really nice microphone or you have this really nice mixer, but it sounds terrible. And you're like, why does it sound that way? It's probably because it's being over processed. So that's why I said if you have a microphone that's okay, but not the best, or you have a decent microphone that's not positioned well, then you don't need to use crisp. You can probably get standard noise suppression, and that's gonna help. It's gonna be a more gentle way of reducing background noise. I would also then leave echo cancellation turned off, because ideally we're trying to remove all of this artificial processing as much as possible and let our good audio quality shine through. So then that is why if you are using a decent microphone positioned close to you, or you're using, a mixer, you've got a good audio setup, you don't want any of this voice processing. You don't want any of these tools messing with all of the really nice stuff you already have. So you can turn all of these off and then let the quality of your equipment shine through. My Rodecaster has noise suppression and a noise gate. I don't need to use noise suppression in here. It's better quality over there. Now, something you might notice is that Discord does not give you the ability to actually process and EQ your audio. Like, it's either on or off, but you can't go in and choose that you only want a compressor, you don't want an equalizer, you do want a noise gate. You don't have any of that functionality. So if that's something you want to do, you do have a few options. Two of the most popular ones being Voicemeeter Banana, which the name is Bananas. This is pretty cool software because basically it's a virtual mixer. You can run your audio through it. What's really nice about this is it is donationware. So you can try it totally free if you want to just see how it works. Once your trial expires, you do need to pay to use it, but again, you get to pay what you want. You decide what it's worth for you. What I've been using is something else called Audio Hijack, and that's because I've also been using a program called Loopback, which is from the same company, Rogue Amoeba, and I really like this just because of essentially the interface, and I do think it works really well. So what Audio Hijack lets you do is basically you select your input device and then your output device, and you can just add in all kinds of different filters and EQ options in between, and then you can adjust those if you want to. You can turn on noise reduction, you can turn on speech to noise, and I just found that this works really well, and then it's real-time EQ. So basically that means if I'm using something like just a USB mic or a wireless mic and I want to use that in Discord, I can then add some EQ and processing that I couldn't otherwise do in real time. Now, I don't want to go too far off track and go into like how to use these applications and the different settings and things. Maybe those will be separate videos. I just want you to know that those are options. The same way that for video, you could choose your camera directly, or you could choose something like Ecamm or OBS, which then means you can adjust your scenes and your camera quality. You can do that with using something like Audio Hijack or Voicemeeter Banana or a couple other different applications as well, where then you can process your audio using another third-party application and then run that into Discord to help you sound your best. As always, the best way to get the best audio is to spend some time experimenting. So these guidelines should help you, or at least maybe clarify some things that you were wondering about, like, why is this here? What is that? But if you just spend a little bit of time and kind of try things, do some test recordings, do some test streams, see what works and doesn't work for you on your specific setup, then you're gonna get the best results. And speaking of getting the best, thank you to the best people who help support the channel through YouTube channel memberships. And if you wanna know a little bit more about leveling up your audio quality, check out these simple EQ tutorials right here. EQ tutorials.